Welcome to the Wisdom of series, where we bring experts in their fields to share their wisdom with you. Today, we have Wisdom of Talent Portfolio Agility, and with us is Dr. Nick Horney and Dr. Laura Santana. Dr. Horney founded Agility Consulting and Training in 2001 and created the AGILE Model. He's often quoted in journals and such as People in Strategy, CIO Magazine, and has written and contributed to numerous books and articles and delivered programs for organizations and professional associations such as AMA, Project Management Institute, IBM International. He has a Ph.D. in industrial and organizational psychology. Laura is the Chief Learning and Development Officer for Elevate Institute. Laura brings 3 decades of listening, mindful perspectives, and regenerative thinking in service of sustainable living and working. She has been a consultant to the medical staff in corporate wellness programs, government and private hospitals, a wellness educator in fitness facilities, television programs, classroom, and leadership programs. Laura has a PhD in leadership and change and an MS in organizational development. Nick and Laura, welcome to the series.
Great, thanks, Stephen.
Thank you.
I could have taken another 5 minutes just to keep reading on your bios, but I thought I'll stop though, right? So you know the drill. We have 3 questions. Here's your first one. Why is talent portfolio agility such a crucial topic now and possibly into the future?
Well, I'd say not possibly. I'd shift that to
definitely, yeah,
almost
exactly.
certainly, and very definitely. So let's get on with that. Let me kind of dial back a few years to 2000. There was a movie that came out and it was called The Perfect Storm. Take a minute and just kind of pause and think about that. We've been involved in a perfect storm, not only now, but even prior to COVID-19, but into the future and on beyond that. So I think the perfect storm is kind of a good setting and maybe a good segue into talking about, well, what is it that that really is helping define what our perfect storm is, particularly as it relates to talent. And there are a number of others that are looking at the topic as well. You've got Microsoft and McKinsey and SHRM as a professional organization of human resources. The projections are that employees now, having experienced what COVID was all about and working remotely, et cetera, are now making some choices about life and choices about where they want to work. So it's not just working at home, but they're also getting much more vocal and stronger and understand that their skills are needed elsewhere. I mean, just look at the data in terms of the jobs that are available and going wanting and not enough talent. So literally the war for talent still exists, but the war for talent and trying to find the right people and enough people to fill positions. So I also hearken back to a definition that's also often given to Einstein as the person who came up with this, is that the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. I think it's a great definition, and I find that many organizations are doing just that as it relates to talent, doing the same things over and over again, thinking about, okay, everybody come back to the office and we're going to do the same old, and it's not going to be successful on into the future. And that's a lot of the argument of talent portfolio agility, because talent portfolio agility is about the mindset around talent and talent management, the processes that you have in place for recruiting and retention and development, as well as outplacement, and also technology. Technology that is beginning to be created and generated, such as Workday, for example, has done a great job in being able to have the kind of talent platform that's going to enable organizations to do what is needed. So really, we do have a war on talent. The argument is there in terms of how we do that. First and foremost, the real key ingredient is how we have historically defined talent, and most organizations have defined talent as full-time staff.
Yeah. exactly.
And so talent portfolio, we'll get into that even with the second question, but that's in essence the argument for, and I would imagine there are probably not too many that would argue against that, because any size organization, public, private, et cetera, are really all struggling with how do we manage, retain, maintain, and even Gartner has come out with a new term called the Great Resignation. This is that period where projections for employee resignations and moving on to different jobs is about at a 50% level.
That's right. Laura, are you facing any of these perfect storms? I'm sure nothing in your organization.
I am, and I thank you. I would like to add to that perfect storm from the voice of the clients that I am working with and the organizations, global organizations. Not only are we sensing the storm that Nick described, we are also looking at internal redefinitions and internal agility, moving from concepts like hierarchy into concepts of holarchy, and how distributed leadership, how structures are changing, reporting relationships are changing. And if we thought that matrixed organizations 10 to 15 years ago were complex, we are now facing even more thinking since the pandemic. People are looking at nature systems, about sustainability, about regenerativity. And so in holarchies, we have a whole nother set of complexity. So our talent needs to be agile because our internal organizational structures are under such flex.
Well, I'm sure there's no storm around because you guys are just making total sense. I mean, what are you talking about? Distributed leadership, organizational change, great resignation. But I think a couple of the things that both of you mentioned are really true, though, right? You need to have a process or a way, right, to assess the mindset, the process, technology, and just all that's going on, the holarchy, right, that's going on in organization these days. I think you've set the perfect foundation for the series, and I'll both see both Laura and Nick on the second question.